Did you know the Philippines is a nation of islands? We have more than 7,600 of them. Because of this, the sea is very important to us. For many Filipinos, the ocean is not just a beautiful view, it is their source of life. Fishing is more than just a job. It is a tradition passed down from generation to generation. It is a way of life for millions of people living in coastal communities all around our country. These hardworking fishermen provide the fish that we see in our markets and that we eat at our dining tables. The fishing industry is a big part of our economy, giving jobs to countless Filipinos and feeding our nation. It is a vital artery of our society. The daily life of a Filipino fisherman starts very early. Before the sun rises, they are already preparing their boats and their nets. They sail out into the vast sea, hoping for a good catch. This is their everyday routine. They depend on the ocean's bounty to provide for their families. They need to pay for their children's education, buy food, and cover daily expenses. The money they earn from selling fish like galunggong, tilapia, or bangus is crucial. When the catch is good, their families are happy and secure. The sea is a generous provider, but it can also be a powerful and dangerous force, especially when the weather turns bad. The connection between the Filipino people and the sea is deep. Our culture is filled with stories and beliefs about the ocean. We have festivals to thank the sea for its gifts. Our local dishes often feature fresh seafood as the main ingredient. From the bustling fish ports of General Santos City to the small fishing villages in Palawan, the rhythm of life is tied to the tides and the seasons of the sea. This deep-rooted relationship makes the fishing community a cornerstone of our national identity. It is a source of pride and a symbol of the Filipino spirit of resilience and hard work. Without these fishermen, a big part of our culture would be lost. However, this vital lifeline is constantly under threat. Our country is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire and the Typhoon Belt. This means we face many natural challenges. Every year, about 20 typhoons enter the Philippine area of responsibility. Many of these storms are becoming stronger and more destructive. For our fishermen, a coming typhoon is not just a news report. It is a direct threat to their lives, their boats, their gear, and their ability to earn a living. The battle between the fishermen and the powerful typhoons is a difficult and ongoing struggle that affects the entire nation. It is a fight for survival. When a super typhoon makes landfall, its power is truly terrifying. Imagine winds blowing at more than 200 kilometers per hour. These winds can feel like a giant fist, smashing everything in its path. For a fisherman, their most valuable possession is their boat, or banca. These boats, often made of wood and bamboo, are no match for the storm's fury. The powerful waves, as tall as houses, can lift these boats and smash them against the shore or sink them into the deep. After a strong typhoon passes, it is a heartbreaking sight to see the coastline littered with the wreckage of what were once proud fishing vessels. The destruction does not stop with the boats. Fishermen also lose their expensive and essential fishing gear. Nets, lines, and fish traps, which can cost thousands of pesos, are easily washed away by the storm surge. These tools are the means by which they catch fish, and losing them is like a writer losing their pen or a carpenter losing their hammer. Furthermore, the typhoon damages important infrastructure. Coastal roads are destroyed, making it hard to transport fish to the markets. Fish ports and landing sites, where fishermen sell their catch, are often left in ruins. Markets and ice plants can also be damaged, disrupting the entire supply chain. It is not just the traditional fishermen who suffer. Aquaculture, which is the farming of fish and other seafood, is also devastated. Fish ponds, which are carefully managed to raise fish like bangus and tilapia, can be flooded by the heavy rains and storm surge. The fish inside are washed away, representing a total loss for the fish farmer. The same thing happens to crab and shrimp farms. Oyster and mussel beds, which are carefully cultivated in coastal waters, can be completely destroyed by the violent waves. These aquaculture ventures are big investments, and a single typhoon can wipe out a family's entire life savings in just a few hours. The impact of this widespread destruction is immediate and severe. A fisherman without a boat or a net cannot work. A fish farmer whose ponds are empty has nothing to sell. The physical damage caused by the typhoon directly translates into a complete stop of all fishing activities. The roaring winds and the churning waves leave behind a trail of devastation that silences the once bustling coastal communities. The sound of engines is replaced by an eerie quiet, broken only by the sound of people trying to salvage what little is left of their livelihoods. The battle is lost, and the storm has won this round. The danger of a typhoon does not end when the storm passes. Even before the storm arrives, weather agencies issue warnings. Fishermen are told not to go out to sea. This is a necessary safety measure, but it means days without any income. For a family that depends on daily earnings, a few days without work can be very difficult. They have no other source of money to buy food and other basic needs. This period of waiting is filled with anxiety, not just about the coming storm, but about how they will survive without a catch. The sea, their provider, becomes a forbidden zone. After the typhoon has passed, the problems continue and often get worse. As we have seen, many boats and fishing gear are destroyed. A fisherman cannot simply go back to work the next day if his boat is a pile of wood on the beach. It takes a lot of time and money to repair or build a new boat. It also takes time to replace lost nets and traps. During this entire period, the fisherman is unable to earn a living. This can last for weeks or even months. The longer they are unable to fish, the deeper they fall into debt, often borrowing money just to feed their families. This loss of income has a direct impact on food security, not just for the fishermen's families, but for the entire country. When fishermen cannot go to sea, the supply of fish in the markets decreases. When there is less supply, the prices go up. This means that fish, a primary source of protein for many Filipinos, becomes more expensive and less affordable for ordinary families. The empty nets of the fishermen in the provinces lead to empty plates in the cities. This shows how connected we all are. The struggles of a fisherman in a remote coastal village can be felt by a family in Metro Manila trying to buy food at the market. Beyond the immediate economic problems, typhoons also cause long-term damage to the marine environment. The powerful waves and currents can destroy fragile coral reefs. These reefs are like the cities of the sea. They are home to many species of fish. When the corals are broken, the fish lose their homes and breeding grounds. This means there will be fewer fish to catch in the future. Similarly, seagrass beds, which are important feeding grounds for fish and other marine life, can be uprooted and washed away. This environmental damage makes it even harder for the fish populations to recover, creating a long-lasting problem for the fishing industry. Starting over after a devastating typhoon is an enormous challenge for our fishermen. Imagine losing everything you have worked for your entire life in just one day. The emotional and psychological toll is immense. But beyond the sadness, there is the very practical problem of rebuilding. A new boat can cost tens of thousands of pesos, and a new engine can cost even more. For a family that was already living day to day, saving this amount of money is nearly impossible. They face a mountain of debt and uncertainty, with no clear path to get back on their feet and return to the sea. The recovery process is slow and often painful. Many fishermen try to repair their broken boats with scrap materials, but these makeshift vessels may not be safe for the open sea. They might borrow money from lenders who charge very high interest, trapping them in a cycle of debt. The entire community is affected, as local businesses that support the fishing industry, like boat builders and net makers, also struggle to recover. The spirit of Bayanihan, or community cooperation, is strong, but the scale of the destruction can be too overwhelming for a community to handle on its own. The need for outside help is critical. This is where support from the government and non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, becomes so important. Programs that provide financial aid, loans with low interest, or materials for boat building can make a huge difference. Training on more resilient fishing methods and safer boat designs can help communities prepare better for future storms. Livelihood diversification programs, which teach fishermen alternative skills, can also provide a safety net for when they cannot go to sea. This support is not just about giving handouts. It is about investing in the resilience of our coastal communities and ensuring the future of our nation's food supply. In the end, the battle between typhoons and fishermen is a story of Filipino resilience. Despite the repeated devastation, our fishermen do not give up. They rebuild, they return to the sea, and they continue to provide for their families and their country. However, as typhoons become stronger due to climate change, their resilience is being tested like never before. It is our collective responsibility to support them. We must work together to create stronger systems, protect our marine environments, and ensure that our brave fishermen can continue their vital role as the guardians and providers of our nation's bounty. Long live the Filipino fishermen.